Yeah, let me hit record because you can't miss it.
Is trying to give me a white label right now. 3 8-hour days in Philly from the 17th to the 19th. So I
Who?
gotta respond to.
Oh, trying to hook you up right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yep.
Can I get 20% off of whatever you make?
Wow, look at you! You look like a king. What's going on?
Listen, I'm down here with a blankie.
Oh,
This is
okay.
a blank. My basement is freezing.
It's like a poncho.
Yeah.
I work in my basement as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we do, right? I hear
So,
you. I hear you.
how long do you need with? Do you need a little bit more time? Because I need to get
No,
your
no, I'm good.
undivided
I'm good.
attention. All right. Once we
I'm
start,
good.
you can't look at that screen anymore.
All right. Okay. All right. We're good. We're good. Yeah, I get coming down on Friday, so I'm gonna go see him Friday.
Is coming out to New York.
Yeah, he tried to hustle me for a for to borrow my aura or something like that. I was like, just hire me to do the damn job. It's a 10-day event for Michael Kors, so I'm like, all right, I was like, I'll hook you up with the price, right? No,
Yeah.
no problem,
Yeah.
So
Nah,
yeah.
tell him to pay up. Tell him you need all the white label fees.
He gave me a price, and I asked him for more, and he had to agree. He had no choice.
There you go. Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Pay the man. All right, let me kick it off with a proper introduction. Check it out. Check it out. Here we go with another episode of the Boothish Podcast. On today's episode, we have the white label king of New York himself, Billy Chung.
What's up? What's up?
How's it going, King?
I'm going well. I'm going well. I can't refer to myself as a king, but I guess you can, right?
I can. We can. Why can't we call you the white label king of New York? First of all,
I don't know. Gotta stay humble. You know what I mean?
Oh my
Can't be like that. I'm not even quite sure that I'm doing as much white labels as other people out there.
Listen, I'm gonna take out that whole piece right there because we're not here to humble you down. We are officially labeling you the white label king of New York, Chung. So wear that crown with pride.
All right. I'll take it.
All right.
I'll take it.
Billy. So I call you the white label king of New York because you have been on a tear white labeling for photo booth companies who are all outside of New York, but who want to do business in your town, and I guess even more so during the pandemic. Is that right?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. So, you know what, Billy, before we dive into it, right, I want to do two things, especially for the audience who may not know what white labeling is. I want you to first explain what white labeling is, and then we're going to go into your past about how you got into the business. Then we're going to circle back to white labeling and get into the weeds about what you do in terms of white labeling and how you're out here running your photo booth business.
Yep. So basically, white labeling is when a company hires you to do a job under their company name. So you can't advertise your own company or wear your own company logos or brand anything that has anything to do with your brand. You're working under their brand, that's basically a loyalty type of thing. If somebody's willing to hire you for white labeling, you're basically doing everything by their rules. That's basically what white labeling is. It's basically companies that don't have the staff, don't have the resources. They'll outsource it, and basically in New York, a lot of people really reach out to me.
New York is a mecca, so I'm sure there's a whole lot of things going on that are in New York, and you've got companies or photo booth companies rather, that are probably in, let's say, Las Vegas or Kansas or wherever, Oklahoma, and they might have an event that they need to run in New York, and as opposed to them running the event themselves, flying out there, sending staff, etc., they send you to do it since you're based in New York. You're doing the events for them out there. Is that right?
Yeah, correct, exactly. I have people all over, especially from LA, from Miami, from Chicago, Texas, all over. They'll give me a call if they need anything on the tri-state area, even from all the way from here to upstate New York, Connecticut, all the way down to Washington, D.C. So that's probably my limit right there. A 4-hour drive is pretty tough.
So, Billy, let's actually start from the beginning with you. When and how did you get into the photo booth business?
Back in 2013, my cousin and a couple of friends were getting married. And back then, photo booths weren't really that popular just yet. A lot of photo booths out there that I seen were a camera that will just be there and just shoot and it'll capture shots. Like they have a button, 3, 2, 1, and then it'll capture the shot. So then my cousin was like, okay, can we have a machine at our wedding? And I was like, I found some people that I was actually going to white label because I own a DJ company. So as a DJ company, people ask you for things that, you might not have. So you go out and do the research. So I went out and did the research on this. Um, and then I had my cousin, I had another good friend of mine. They were like, okay, we're getting married. Can you get us a photo booth? So I was going out there. I was asking people, I was going to this is considered a white label, right? So I was going to white label them to do the photo booths. And they were charging, we're talking about like maybe 3 hours. We're talking about like $1,800. I mean, we're talking about
Oh,
2013.
wow, yeah.
That was a lot of money, right? So I was like, oh my god. So then I've obviously found a photo booth. I'm not sure if should I mention them or not.
Nah, go ahead if you want. It's
Yeah.
up to
So
you.
basically, I found Stephen Lynch from Atlanta Photo Booths, and basically he was the man. His customer service is number one. I'm sorry, he's not paying me for this, right? But obviously,
Yo,
my
cut
first
the
booth
check, Steve.
my first booth was a party box, and from there
Wait,
on,
wait, wait, wait. Hold on. Let me stop you real quick. So
yeah,
you're. I think you said that your family member was about to get married, and they asked you for
correct.
a photo booth. You weren't a photo booth, but you're a DJ
Hmm.
primarily, and obviously you're not going to say no to a job. So you went to go find, I guess, a photo booth company.
Yep.
All
Basically,
right.
I went on Google and look for photo booths with
So
like a
you
printing
were looking for a
capability
photo booth to buy or a photo booth to rent?
to buy.
Oh,
Initially, it was to rent, but the prices were so high just to rent.
okay.
Where I was looking at what is the factor, the difference between if I buy it, because I have two events coming up that
Yeah.
need it. So if I bought it, I mean that's like let's say 1,800 times two, right? That's 3,600. How much is to buy a
Quick
photo booth,
math.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically just to buy a photo booth, and I mean that price to buy a photo booth was extra 2 grand, 3 grand. I don't remember, right? On
Yeah.
top, I don't remember what I paid a long time ago, but at the end of the day, it was worth it for me to buy a photo booth. And Steve, great customer service, pointed me right directions. I did these two events and it was great. And then after that, it was basically people just kept on calling word
Hold
of
on,
mouth.
wait.
Huh?
Let me slow you down. Let me slow you down for
Yep.
a second. So you hit the Googles. You went and you searched up where can I find where can I buy a photo booth? You hit that in Google and Atlanta Photo Booth, right? That I believe that's the name of the Steve's company. You found
Yep.
Atlanta Photo Booth. Why did you go with Atlanta? I'm sure you found other providers.
Yeah, I did. So the thing is, theirs was, I had a niche for looking for it to look attractive, and he had the big screen. We're talking about like a 22-inch touchscreen or something like that. That was big at that time, right? And then he had it looked really nice to me. Like it caught my eye. And it was portable, transportable by a small car, like a Honda Civic or something like that.
Yeah.
And like most of that was very important because I was transporting DJ Kid in a van,
Oh
and
man.
it already took up the whole van already, the subs and everything like that. So I was like, okay, I needed something small in case I need to throw it in there. And I mean, now I think about it, it's not that small anymore compared to the stuff that they have now. So I purchased one of those, and after doing those two events, like it's word of mouth, it just kept coming. And lo and behold, I bought a second one from Steve, and then that's in 2014, 2015. That's when photo booths were really, really popping. Like
Yeah.
we're talking about, like people were booking it left and right. It was easy, and I mean, I was very competitive in pricing as well. I
Well,
guess yeah.
so when you first started, right? You
Mhm.
said that everything was like a lot of word of mouth for you. You weren't doing any like type of advertising at that point.
Not at all. Maybe like a Facebook post.
Okay.
Oh, now we have photo booth. Things. It wasn't really pushed. It was like a lot of word of
But
mouth.
you had the
Yeah.
DJ company anyway. So was it that the DJ company was feeding you like all those leads?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
basically, what happened was back by 2014, 2015, when we were meeting customers, we're like, oh, we have a photo booth too. And then at that time, they were like, oh, okay, that's great. Let's look at it. And then I obviously gave them a big break if they booked the whole DJ package
Okay.
alongside with the photo booth. That's like it was more used as a fishing hook, that type of
Okay.
thing, right?
So
And it
it's bait.
given, yeah, like bait. There you
Okay.
go.
Or not even. Well, yeah. All right. So you would like so you'd give them a big discount on the photo booth, but the DJ portion was really like your bread and butter. Is that right?
Yes, you got it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like how much? Like what kind of discount are we talking? Like how much were you charging, and then like what would you discount it down to?
So basically, back at that time, right, I was pretty competitive. So I started at $1,000 for like 4 hours.
Okay.
So it was like 250 an hour. Obviously, paper didn't cost that much. So, yeah, it was $1,000. If they booked the DJ package, right, I give them a $200 discount. So
Okay.
800.
All right.
Yeah. And we're talking about we're doing like 40 weddings a year, right? And
Yeah.
I'm getting automatically 40 bookings on a phone booth, which is $800.
Okay.
So
Nice.
that was pretty good. But I spent a lot of money R&Ding, so it was like changing around with software, buying all the software there is possible, playing around with them, backdrops, things like that.
On behalf of all the software vendors in the photo booth industry, I just want to say we appreciate you and you spending all of that money on us, just making it rain for the industry. Shout out to you,
No
Billy.
problem. No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
All right. So first year, you were building up the business by a lot of word of mouth, and yeah, so you're just kind of riding on the DJ portion of it. Do you still actively DJ now, or is like the photo booth thing like your main thing right now?
So as of last year, as of after pandemic, I basically decided to not DJ anymore, or DJ less, I guess. I mean, of course, if we're double booked and they need DJs, like my next wedding that I'm scheduled to DJ is in September because one, I was requested to do it, and we are double booked as well. So yeah, I no longer really. I mean, play around. I want to DJ and play the music that I want to play at home. I start my turntables and everything like that. I play around. Like every time I jump off for like a 1 hour set just to practice and make sure I'm still there, right?
Yeah.
As far as
gotta make sure you still
yeah,
got it.
exactly. I still got the record pools. I'm still paying for them. So I mean, I'm still downloading stuff, actively downloading. But as far as DJing, I realized that it's been taking up a little bit more time because you got to get the music ready for a wedding, things like that. The request. Some people send you a list of like 100 songs, that kind of thing, and you got to get them all together and stuff.
Yeah.
But it takes away time for me to really focus on this photo booth stuff. So, especially, I mean, even white labeling, you still have to take some time and get everything together. Make sure everything's right. You send it off to the person that's hiring you, and you gotta make sure everything's right.
Okay, so in your first year or two, you were still doing the photo booth thing at the same time as you were DJing. So you were using that to grow your business, using the leads from one company to feed the other. When did the photo booth business start to become its own entity and start to generate its own leads?
So end of 2016, I see like I'm getting like double book, triple book, like then I started buying more booths, shout outs to G, he hooked me up, he's not in the game no more.
G Win.
G Win, So, he hooked me up, like
Shutter Cube.
I was looking at Shutter Cubes. I had like in my life I own 4 Shutter Cubes.
Wait, but what do you mean he hooked you up? Let's define that.
All right, so basically,
because G, I don't know if G gives anything away for free, but maybe he just doesn't love me as much.
We developed a relationship because we had somebody that we knew in New York that was in common. He was a father of he was a godfather of one of my friend's kids. So what happened was, it was like a small world, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna give you the family hookup," that kind of thing. So, actually, really, it did work out. Like
wait. What's the family hookup? What's the percentage off on a family hookup?
I would say probably like maybe like 40. 30,
that's not bad. That's good.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's still good.
Last time a family member told me they were going to give me the family discount, it was like a 5% discount on at a restaurant. I never looked at it the same again. Shoot, you were no family of mine.
I wouldn't do that to you, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That was crazy. Yeah. But 40% is a solid discount. Okay. So G hooked you up, and then you started getting some more booths off of him. Were you saying you got 4 of them? Is that what you're about to say?
Yeah, basically, I guess I bought two off of him at once. Okay. I saw it at the Atlanta photo booth still.
Yeah.
So it was going out like 3 was going out, like we're talking about we have 4 every weekend kind of thing going out. And I had some staff that were, they were pretty dedicated to at the same time, because every weekend they would be making money off of it, So after that, I was like, okay, this is getting a little crazy now. So I had to do my own S corp. I separated from the business. So the DJ company it belongs to my brother and I. And then so just based on tax purpose, I was like, okay, we're not gonna bundle it together anymore. We're just gonna we're gonna separate it. And then after 2016, 2017.
Wait, hold on. Wait, so you separated the DJ company from the photo booth company. You guys both own the DJ company. Who owned the photo
Yeah.
booth company?
I do.
Okay, so why do you just let you leave with the photo booth business?
So basically what happened was, brothers are brothers, right? So
Mm.
what happened is he is not much of an R&D person. He's more like, he's a great MC, he's a great DJ. I gotta give him props for that. Basically, a lot of my DJing skills are, I really picked it up from him. I can't say he sat there and taught me, but
Yeah.
just listening to the way he was doing it, I learned when I was a kid, right? So just by that. But when I wanted to get in the photo booth there was no contribution, or there was no, there was like no opinion, no contribution. He knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
So I started it. I added it to the thing. Obviously, he was a little bitter that I didn't include him, right? But at the same time, who's doing R&D is me,
Yeah.
So, so basically, when we split that, like it was more of my bread and butter. Then,
Okay.
that was my thing. So that's by the beginning of 2017. That is when really I started going ham on the photo booth business. Like
Okay.
now we're doing the Facebook page. Now we're doing the Instagram. Things like that. So still no public advertisements or anything like that though.
So 2017 is when you started taking the photo booth business a little bit more seriously. But and what is the reason that you said, hey, let me do this a little bit more seriously? Is it because it was making so much money at the time, or?
Yeah, correct. So basically, it literally was, I was getting so many inquiries, like not just from the weddings anymore, right? So now we're getting people from the outside. That's what it warranted me to change things around. So when school starts calling you for proms and Essex Market and things like that, those big corporations, like companies, start calling me without the DJ stuff, right? Without anything, just for the photo booth. Then I was like, okay, we have to take this more seriously. Do more customization, email branding, hence Pick Social. We got get the
Hey,
mailing involved in that.
let me hit an air horn for Pick
Yeah,
Pick.
come on.
Yeah, how were these people finding you now that you had spun off of it?
So basically, that was still a kind of word of mouth too,
Okay.
like in the New York community. Obviously, I'm not like one of the first people who has this photo booth stuff, but I guess quality was a big thing.
Okay.
I always went out, like a lot of photo booth companies that I saw, obviously started meeting people, other people in the industry from New York, like they probably saw me as competition or whatever it is, right? The way I see it, their quality wasn't really there because they were using that webcam stuff too, and, they had the Groupon deals, and I never got into that Groupon thing. I heard your other podcasts, a lot of people doing. I
Yeah.
heard, obviously Min was doing that Groupon thing. So, he was based out actually pretty close to me. He was based out by you guys too at the same time, and he would probably come down to New York and do things too. That's when I actually really started talking to Min as well.
Yeah.
But
When he was coming into New York to steal your business.
yeah, well, I'll be mute about it because that's my boy.
Yeah.
No, he never.
I'll talk trash for you. Don't worry, I got you, Billy. All right. So while you had all of this going on as you started this photo booth business, were you still working full time at this point as well?
Yes. So basically, I do IT at a hospital. That's my background. I've been an IT person all my life. So I was working at Beth Israel Hospital, which got bought out by Mount Sinai, which I'm still there. I'm at Mount Sinai now as an application analyst. And during that time, it was 9 to 5. It was tough, it was tough because I was getting all these inquiries. Pretty bad at time management, but I literally took my own business, more seriously than my day job, and I still do. Don't get me wrong. Day job. Like they won't think twice about firing you. So basically, they won't think twice about letting you go. But what you have as a hustle, the only thing that can go wrong is you do a bad job or you screw yourself over. You have your own control. But yeah, it was tough because there was deadline on projects at work, and I still have those, but my time management is a little better now. So, and I'm better, more advanced. Like, it won't take me like too long to build an event kind of thing.
So as you were getting started and you're working full time, you've got these events coming in. I can't imagine that everything was perfect for you. Did you ever have a moment that you were like, hey, I want to quit?
Well, my day job, yes, I still do.
No, not even the day job, but did you have a point, where you wanted to quit the photo booth business?
No, absolutely not. I'm gonna tell you why. Because for some reason, like a lot of people ask me this. So, we have a group chat. Obviously, Min and all my friends. They're really close to me. We talk every day. So, they ask me like, everything about quitting, things like that. I'm like, no, absolutely not, because I do it. They know I do it for as mainly a hobby. Actually, it's
Yeah.
fun to me. Like events are really, really fun to me. Where like having I do my own events still. I know a lot of people probably dread doing their events because they've been doing the industry so well, but I like doing my own events. I like going out there myself. Especially with the new technology. I chase new technology. Like obviously now is the Snap Pick 360, whatever it is. Um, so I never ever thought about quitting the photo booth because I'm always chasing whatever is new out there. And you see me at all the PBXs. So
Yeah.
it's like always, I mean, basically I'm always going there with money, right? I always go buy something. I came back this time with an Orca, right? So
Nice.
it's like, yeah, every year I always come back with something. So I mean, never quitting. I can't say of thinking about quitting or selling. I don't think I'll ever do that.
So when is it that you got into white labeling for other people's events? How did that happen?
So that's what happened during 2017. I think it was actually end of 2016. Um, I guess I could say it. Shout out to my girl Shelly, right? So
Shelly,
yeah,
pop
Shelly,
shows, pop
Pop
social,
Social.
right?
Yeah, Pop Social. I gotta give her the
How do
shout
you
out.
say her last name?
Ran Sanyaku.
Okay, Rang Yaku. How'd I
Yeah,
do?
right. I think you did well, and I don't think I said it right.
Yeah. All
she's
right.
gonna she's gonna be paging me after she hears this. Right?
So
Yeah.
how did you guys link up?
So what happened was we had a photo booth back then that was made from Photopod.
Two Photopod.
Yeah, Too late. Yeah, shout out to Too late too. I bought a photo booth from him as well. It was pretty cool. It had the hydraulics, up and down. I guess me and Shelly had a niche for it, like an eye of looking at how pretty things can be, right? So I didn't meet Shelly yet until Too late was like, oh, somebody needs a she hooked us up because Shelly's booth broke. And obviously two is in I think Cali or I don't remember where he
Yeah.
was, right? So he wasn't able to fix it. And Shelly was seeing if I was able to fix hers. So I was like, being technical as I am, I could, but it would definitely take time to do, right? So her event was like probably like 2 days later kind of thing. And I was like, okay, there's no way I can fix this. And she was like, okay, can you do the job? How much you want for it? That was the first white label job I ever did. So it was pretty, after that it was just a relationship that was ongoing. She was like, okay, I need you for this, I need you for this, I need you for this. I'm like, all right, let's go, let's keep going,
So
And
with that first white label event that you were doing, did you know that it was white label? Like how did the conversation occur?
I was taking it as a person that's hiring me from the outside, that
Okay.
kind of thing. So I even charge her not like, like a person that was on outside, like I didn't give her basically any discount.
Yeah.
Hey, can you cut that?
No.
Well, basically what happens is I know obviously you're not going to lose money hiring somebody to do the job, right? So um that's that's wrong practice for white labeling. So if I hire somebody to do the job and I'm setting up a lot of the stuff, I meet with the clients and stuff like that, I probably would want to make some money out of that, right? So, how much she makes, I don't know, but I know that she's very big in the industry.
Yeah.
And obviously she could afford me. I wouldn't say that I'm cheap.
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. So basically because of her, I started like, knowing what white labeling was, and she pushed me actually, like to do certain things that I never did before, like a lot of the gift stuff, a lot of the effect stuff. She was very into detail, and she pushed. And yeah, we got into it a lot of times, like back and forth, but we're like brother and sisters.
Yeah.
And what the relationship that we have, we will argue, we would get bitter. And even during the event, like, I would tell her that, God, you gotta calm the fuck down, So and then she would be like, oh, basically it's a back and forth conversation. But at the end of the day, we see each other, we hug it out, we
Yeah.
drink, we call it a day, right? So, you know,
So why were you kind of hesitant to start doing like the gifts and all that stuff at the beginning that she pushed you to start doing?
Well, I wasn't really familiar. Like, I basically think a photo booth should be like point and shoot, like point, shoot, print, kind of thing. Um, just quality of the pictures was to me was more important, like lighting and things like that, right? But when it came down to motion gifts, I wasn't familiar. I guess the familiarity, because I was so used to doing weddings, right? They don't ask for that stuff. Weddings are asking for just regular stuff. But then yes, you're right. Like, it I should have, like if I dedicated more time, that's when I started dedicating more time to it. Then I was probably more able to, like learn more the gift stuff um and take it to a different level because of Shelly. Because Shelly was like, oh, I need this for the client. You have to capture this, and then green screens and get green screen animation. Now I'm like, oh wow, this is back in 20 beginning of 2017. I'm like, hey, this stuff is not, I'm not familiar with it. But she pushed me to a way where now it's like second nature.
All right. So as you're working with Shelly and learning the white labeling ropes, I guess you could say, what else did you learn about white labeling that you didn't know at that time?
So basically with white labeling, right? I already like kind of figured that you're not supposed to advertise your own company regardless, like because you are working for somebody else, right? And I think I kind of got the gist of it because in business wise, I have I have a certain amount of common sense where this person is going to hire you for the job. You're not actually supposed to say, oh, you're from this company, or try to say, oh, come hire me next time, come look for me next time. There's a certain sense of how I feel like it's karma, right? So if you do that, right, if she gets more business, obviously she's going to look for me, and she'll get me to do the work, and I'm happy for that already. So I guess that was my approach from the beginning, from the first day one, from for Shelly, right? So I was like, okay, let me just be loyal. I'm like that anyway. I'm not gonna be. I'm not dick, right? So, let me just be loyal. Good karma. She seems nice. Let's do this, right? And then certainly that paid off, right? And after doing, I was honestly say I probably did like over 100 events for Shelly now. So,
Wow.
since all these years, yeah, I can't. I don't know, maybe a little under 100, but some big ones. Some pretty high profile ones.
So I mean,
She
can
just
you talk about any of those?
I guess yeah. So year one, I think she flew me out to Indianapolis to do an Adidas event, and that was pretty big. I mean, I was like, wow, somebody's actually flying me out to go do this, a white label wise. So then, that's also branding. So being white label, I can't really say that, it's I think I made more progress and got more educated by white labeling for her than me just doing my regular photo booths for my DJ company, right? So she flew me out to Indianapolis, and this was actually not a photo booth job. It was actually they set up a big backdrop, and it was photographers point and shoot. So what they needed was basically instant share kind of thing, right? And then at that time, sorry to you, but we're using LAPP, right?
Who?
So,
Never. No, I'm only playing. Shout outs to the Millers,
yeah, the
the
Millers,
Miller
right?
twins, the Miller brothers.
The Millers. Yeah, so we're using LAPP, and basically I had to set up two stations. There was two places where they were shooting, and being the tech I was the person who was basically overseeing. She hired local photographers, and I was just overseeing, making sure that sharing stations are up and good, right? So yeah, that was a that was a great event. Basically, I was able to take. They upgraded me to first class coming home because
Nice.
there was nobody on the airplane. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, and that was a first. I never took first class before. That was the experience. I was like, oh, I could get the gist of this.
So
I didn't
she
have
was
no
she was out here
yeah.
upgrading you.
Yeah, well, it's not well, basically, yeah, she was upgrading me, right? So, I mean, like, that's like I didn't have kids yet at
Yeah.
that time. Like we're talking about, like I guess it's 2016, end of 2016, 2017. I did have, yeah. Actually, my son was just newborn,
Yeah.
right? But my wife wasn't working, so she was home. She was able to take care of the kids.
Yeah.
Shout out to my wife because
For
without
real.
her, I don't think I'll be as successful as I am.
Oh
So
man, where's
yeah.
my where's my sound effect?
Hell yeah. Hell
Oh
yeah.
yeah, there we go. Oh man.
So I mean, I guess I didn't mention also back in 2013, 2014, right? That's when I asked my wife, should I buy a photo booth? It's
Yeah.
a big investment, right? We're talking about like 5, 6 grand. She was like, yeah, you should go do it if you think you're gonna make, like she's the one who pushed me, oh, you wanna take things to another level, you should do it, you should do it yourself. And because of her, I bought that APB, So it was it was just basically I have to give a shout out. If you don't have the right partner in life,
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't be able to advance yourself as one, you know, and two, you basically have another person's opinion on certain things, which is good.
Man, listen, people are coming here for photo booth advice, but they're also getting relationship advice from the
Yeah.
man Billy Chung. Ah, I'm looking
two
forward to the book.
yeah.
Yeah.
2 kids and 11 years of marriage. That's what it is.
Oh man, that is amazing. So we pray for another 50 for you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. So boothish, right? We come on here, we talk to photo booth entrepreneurs who have hit six figures in their business. And for you, at what point would you say that you hit six figures in the photo booth industry?
Actually, last year,
Yeah.
it was actually amazing. So, what happened was, it was a lot of from New York was shut down. Obviously, the pandemic. I was in 2020. I was like devastated. I was kind of a little. I mean, I had my day job for granted, right? And
Yeah.
everybody's thinking that, oh, you still have your day job. You're a lucky guy. It doesn't work like that because you have all these things that people rely on you to do. Like all these payments that you have to make. I got myself in the red, and I wasn't. I was like pretty upset. I
Yeah.
was little depressed in life. I was like, oh crap, there's no events coming on.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna, like it. So in 2019, I went after 2019, 2020 PBX. I came out of 2020 PBX. That's when COVID started. I was thinking, oh man, this is gonna be the year. Like 2020 was like 2019 was great, but 2020 was gonna be better. That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking. So once shut down everything, I had nothing, no DJ. So
Yeah.
I had no DJ business. No, that's basically loss of way more than six figures, right?
Yeah.
So that's two things already. The double whammy, right? So what happened was New York opened up. Probably we'll say 2021, like in June, they really opened up. Started doing more and more events available for events. So I was doing like spotty events in June, like maybe you have one on the 13th and the next one's on the 30th, that kind of thing. So it was like 1 and 2. I was grateful, at least we're doing something, right? So after that, actually in August, people started reaching out to me. We're talking about companies. I'm not going to name them, right? So
Wait. When you say companies, you mean other photo booth companies, right?
other photo booth companies, yeah,
Okay.
started reaching out to me and say, Billy, are you available? Billy, are you available? I was like, yes. I was
Yeah.
like, let's take them. Then I had to think about, oh crap, well my staff left me. So
Wait. Let's back this up for a second. So you're
sure.
saying that photo booth companies were reaching out to you to see if you're available. Where are these photo booth companies based in New York? Where are they from?
So a few of them are based in New York, and a few were based in New York. So what
Okay.
happened is after the pandemic, it hit New York very, very hard. So what happened in New York, they literally shut it all down, and people probably moved away, or they were just weren't in the business anymore. Um, they're in the business, but they probably moved to like somewhere where his cost of living is less, or I don't know what their reason of moving is. Some probably moved to the West Coast or something like that. So so they're no longer doing business here, but they got inquiries for New York, and they might have some existing customers that are looking for them. They couldn't service them, so they would probably either ask around, even on Facebook postings. I would jump on them right away too, as well, right? So a lot of the companies, when they move out, they had openings or they were short staffed or something like that. They would call me, "Oh, can you do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, like absolutely, I'll take on whatever I could take." And then August it filled up. Then September it filled up. We're talking about every weekend was busy. Weekdays were busy. Thank goodness on my job, I saved a lot of sick days. Working from home, when are you gonna call out sick, right? So I saved a lot of sick days. So I took the sick days off. I went to go do the events. As far as month ago, it just got better and better. We're talking
Yeah.
about like a lot of 360s were coming closer. It was just amazing.
So for you, the coming into the pandemic, you weren't, in a great space. Obviously, most people weren't because of the shutdowns, no events. But 2021 turned out to be your best year because of white labeling.
Yep. exactly.
And what do you think? Well, why do you think these people were reaching out to you specifically? Why do you think they were going with you?
I don't know. I think also, I mean, this word of mouth thing, it's very, very important, I guess. I know that Zach helped me out a lot too. Like Zach referred me to another company down here too as well. Like just basically, actually, Zach was a big hookup. Believe it
Yeah.
or not, I gotta say, shout out to Zach.
So he's not
Um,
the asshole people think he is.
no, well, well, he could be
He could
when
be
he wants to
sometimes.
be. He
Yeah.
could be when he wants to be, right?
Yeah.
So back then, I didn't know him that well. Yeah, of course.
Let
So
me.
Zach, he could be an asshole. Like like when I first noticed who he was, in the photo booth community, I saw his answers to a lot of people. It was like, he was kind of rough, like to the newbies, right? But like that's why I thought he was like kind of asshole. But after getting to know him, like now me and him we talk pretty regularly, and he's been hooking me up with like left and right too. As far as like we're in New York, I can't like for me, I don't see him as I don't see anybody as a competitor anymore.
Yeah.
Like back then, you used to be like, hey, everybody in New York, I'm trying to get them, kind of thing. Now,
Yeah.
it's I can't think like that anymore because my business took a different direction where I'm mostly like now white labeling a lot. So just by that, like the loyalty of do representing other people's brands, that's basically what like I guess the word of mouth there, that's what people are saying, so
And that's the interesting part of why I wanted to talk to you because a lot of people get into the photo booth industry and they want to make a name for themselves. They want to have they want to start the photo booth businesses like a hustle, a side hustle for them, or they just want to dominate their particular area. But you have found for yourself that the niche that you want to stay within is specifically white labeling and not trying to build your own brand. Is that correct?
yes, exactly. So I was actually, I was talking to Lab, shout outs to Lab and Sean and that whole group. I was like, back then I was like, wanted to build, rebrand, change the name up, try to do high end, kind of thing. This was actually after PBX, I guess 2018 or 2018, I would say, right? I was like trying to rebrand and stuff like that. And even after 2019, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna happen. 2020, I was still thinking about rebranding and making a bigger name for myself. Especially take my photo company to another level where, okay, we're doing more higher end events. But then, a pandemic hit, then I was like, okay, literally last year, 2021 was where my mind just totally took a, 360, right? So I don't want to
180 actually, but go ahead.
180. Yeah, 360, you're back at the same place, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at my 360 right now, so I'm like thinking 360. So no, yeah, it's basically a 180. I'm like, okay, why am I still trying so hard to rebuild my site? Mind you, I spent like four grand, like or whatever it is, rebuilding my site and whatever it is. I'm like, okay, let's not do this because these I mean, like when I'm doing these white label things, I'm like thinking, hey, this can be more mainstream for me, like feeling like being a broker of it all, like kind of like somebody coming in, saying, hey, I got these events, can you handle them? Yeah, sure, I can take them, and even if, I have my guys now that are really, really loyal to at the same time, but also I got to give them a break too,
Yeah.
like, that's why I actually go out and do my own events. Like a lot of 360s, I normally go do myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to white labeling, what are the things that you typically handle that your client doesn't, and vice versa? Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it makes
Like
sense. So
graphics, like
yeah,
like what do you do? What do you do that your client doesn't?
so exactly this, right? There's different. Some clients, white label clients, are different, right? We have clients that don't know anything, right? They're like, okay, you got to handle everything.
What do you mean they don't know
Um,
anything?
so
They're a
they're
photo
like,
booth company
okay,
that doesn't know how to be a photo booth
yeah,
company, and they want you to.
ba- basically, you have to do all the graphics,
So
and
is
the
it that they don't
sharing.
know anything, or they just don't want to do it?
Yeah, I can't tell you.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically, yeah, either they don't want to do it or they believe that the person who white label is supposed to be responsible for
Okay.
this job. But no, I say that because it's not true. Where you're actually, if you want your branding to be on everything, you should be the one who's actually setting up the whole experience. for instance, for Zach for Zach, let's say for Zach, right? He'll set up a 360 event. He'll send me the files, the everything needed, like the whole pre-programmed file. I load it into my 360 computer, and just import it. We're good to go. And then he sends me his PPU, and we're good to go. And everything belongs to him. Like all the branding, all the HTML emailing, all the texting, everything. So in that aspect, I really don't really need to do much on Zaxxon. I actually set up the whole booth down here, stage it, do a run, and then send him. He gives me the okay, yes or no. Like he's more particular into having the booth spin really, really fast. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
So I do that adjustment for him where like I spin it real fast and make sure that he sees a video he can improve, right? So some other booth companies, they're saying, oh, would you take the job? Yeah, I would take the job. Okay. They like a blue theme. They like they want a shrimp. A shrimp. I said shrimp. A strip. A strip. A strip for 3 pictures strip with their logo on the bottom. Yeah. I'm like, okay. So they just sent me their logo.
So those companies that are not really coming in and giving you a lot of direction. Are those typically white labeling for corporate events, or is this white labeling for social events?
Both, believe it or not, both. So they're saying, okay, there's one that had me literally do an overlay overnight, right, for them. Like I'm like, you guys got to send me the stuff. Like you guys, your stuff is due. Your event is tomorrow, so you got to send me all the artwork, whatever you guys. Oh, we didn't get a chance to work on them. Oh, can you do this? I'm like, really? Okay, why not? So then I did it, and they approved. I mean, I'm not creative, obviously I can't call myself a creative person, but anything basic, yeah, I would do, like anything. I wouldn't spend like as testing white label stuff out, I wouldn't spend more than like 2 hours kind of thing. But just being dedicating an extra 2 hours at home, setting everything up to making sure that everything test printing and make sure everything goes right. I think that's what I would do for my own events. So that's why I actually would, do it for any white labeling events, even if they sent me the art, even if they pre-programmed it. I have people coming in to my team viewer into my booth and setting everything up for me. So that's a plus, and then all I have to do is test print it, test email, whatever it is. And that's the great part about it, but some people just make you do from A to B. And those I would actually say I do charge a little more because I know who they are. Yeah. I'm like, okay, you're gonna give me this, okay, they'll give me a quote, okay. I charge them like 2 hours on top, like to do my own work, to do the work on that. Yeah.
So when it comes to white labeling, how do you price?
So right now, a majority of white labeling is like glam and 360. A lot of the it's more like extra stuff on top, right? So it's like sugar coated glam booths and the motion stuff. All right. So for 360, right? I would charge my normal customers about $800 an hour, right? Minimum of 3 hours. So that like if I go out, it'd be 2,400 for my own customers. But for white labeling rate, right? I've been pretty consistent at $500 an hour, and then plus travel and parking, right? That's how much I would charge a white labeler. I would charge to white label an event. As far as glam wise, pricing is almost the same, $500 an hour. Just because it used to be $400 an hour, just because the paper got expensive, obviously, and people when it comes to glam, they like to print like postcards, like or a Christmas card to their friends, for Christmas. So I can run through a whole case of paper in a matter of 2.5 hours, just on glam. Yeah. So as far as pricing wise, I mean, I still get what I want kind of thing. I just got to make sure it's worth it for everybody else. Like let's say if I'm charging 800, right, an hour. Let's say I do a 2,400. I charge somebody 2,400 for a 3-hour gig, right? Why would somebody white label me for the same price, right? Yeah. So it makes no sense. So we cut it down. The person is making $900, and I'm making $1,500.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. Yeah. I mean you're not finding the client themselves, right? They're bringing the client to the table. All you're doing is showing up, and they're interfacing with the client and actually closing it. So exactly. I think that those numbers make sense. It's about 30% cut that they're getting on it, which
Hmm.
is typical commission, I think, for most industries, between 20 and 30%.
Yeah, well, I do know people who like basically get a lot more money for the thing. Like, so let's say meanwhile I'm charging 2,400 for a 3 hour event. Person like Shelly could charge 6 grand,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, but still at the same time, I'm not going to charge her. I'm still going to charge her my white
You're
label
not,
rate, which
you're
is
saying you're not going to raise the rates on her because she's getting
exactly,
that
yeah.
six
Yeah,
thousand.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't do that to people.
yeah,
That's not right. I mean, good for you. You could charge somebody 10K. I don't care, but
yeah,
I want what I want.
yeah.
For what as a white labeler.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, as long as you're happy with what it is that you're doing, and I think you find yourself in a really interesting niche to be in, right? Just white
Hmm.
labeling within the industry. I think there are very few people who actively and specifically go out and do things like that. And another gentleman I haven't really had a chance to speak with too much. I think his name is Terrence Snow. He told me that
Yep.
he does a lot of white labeling stuff as well, and I think that's a niche
And
that they fall in.
and the funny part is I've done something for him before too.
So for anybody who wants to get into white labeling their photo booth business, do you have any advice for them?
Yeah. Basically a lot of connecting with other photo booth companies. Don't take them as a threat. Take them more of something that you can learn from them, or just be sociable. Where okay, if you have any, if you overbook, or you're too booked or you're too busy, come here. Here's my card. Come look for me. I'll give you, I give you my rate sheet. See if it's doable for you. So for me, I would say being social is the most important part. Like I think it got me where I am, and also quality. Your work has to be quality. You have to treat your white labels as your own gig, or even maybe this is what Min said. He does it better than his own gigs. I don't know how that is because I do my own gigs really, really great already, right? So, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna provide the same 110% where of what I do as it was my own.
Last question for you, Billy, before we let you go for today. If you were starting over in the photo booth industry and you had to do this all over again, your budget is $5,000. How do you spend it?
Wow. Okay. If I started it this today, or are we talking about
Today.
back in the day?
Today, my man. Today. There's no time
Today.
machine here. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. So
So think of would you get an iPad booth? Would you get a DSLR booth? A 360 booth?
I would say honestly, I would have to say the photo booth wise, right? I would actually buy a DSLR into iPad booth, the connection. So I think Mobi Aura has one of those things. Shout out to Mobi.
Yeah.
Um,
Mike Bendy.
Mike Bendy. So he has that the DSLR into thing using like Snappic basically. You can use Snappic or anything else that uses DSLR, which I would think that's actually very, very good because you can also do external flash. That's like I would think of an all-in-one kind of photo booth. That would be great. But everything's very expensive now.
Yeah.
And secondly, probably if I had enough money, which $5,000 won't get you, like is a 360 booth. You have to buy a whole bunch of stuff with it.
Okay. So let's say your budget was a little bit more, right? Let's say your
Yeah.
budget was 10,000. Would you start with a 360 booth or would you still start with that DSLR iPad booth?
DSLR iPad booth.
All right, so you'd still go there. Okay.
Yeah.
And why would
So
you
yeah,
go there over the 360?
because it's more versatile. So now the experiences that can provide is not just about something that's turning around. Like it's that's the only thing that a 360 can do.
Yeah.
It's all it's doing is 360 videos. But when you have a booth like that, you can do video booth, testimonial booth. You can do glam. You can do just regular iPad snap pick video cuts. Things like that. There's a whole bunch of versatility. Now they have all the software that came out. Like we're talking about Breeze for iPad, Darkroom for iPad. There's a whole bunch of
Curator.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Curate. All there's so much versatility using iPad, and the iPad is so much more powerful now.
Yeah.
So it's not like back then. You had the A10 or A11 chips. Now it's like M1. So it does everything a Surface Pro can do, and probably then some, right? But Windows platform software has been original, and it's always going to be around.
Yeah.
So I would think I would start off with an iPad DSLR booth if I was me.
So you start with that DSLR iPad booth. how would you go about getting your first 10, 20 customers? You don't have a DJ company. Pretend you don't have a DJ company.
Mhm.
Where do you go? What do you do?
I would link up with a DJ company. That's one,
Okay.
right? I'll link up with DJ company, link up with planners or or wedding studios, right? Be like, hey, I'll give you for this price, you charge somebody that price, basically you're still white labeling. That's my mentality, right? So,
Yeah.
hey, we'll have you guys brand. That's how we're gonna start, right? But if you want to have a deal with them, allow them to have your branding somewhere too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that would be the niche because I'm actually remembering how I would market my exquisite boots company,
Yeah.
but I'm more right now. I know how to get white labels,
Okay.
yeah. So I mean, advice wise, not advice wise. Definitely get the photo booth first. Know your stuff. Like, don't like as Zach being an asshole. How he asks people like an asshole. Like I feel where he's coming from. It's like it's not like something's gonna land on your lap. It's not like somebody's gonna. Oh, I bought a photo booth now. Where's the money?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. It doesn't work like that. You really have to work hard. You have to like. I feel like I did put in a lot of work and time and blood and sweat
Yeah.
in getting myself to where I am today in the photo booth industry. But I'm sure that I'm not the only one that does a lot of white labeling too. And advice wise, definitely it's all about connection. At the end of the day, like it's about who you know. Like I could say, last time when I was eating dinner with you, Shay, um, Min text me, "Hey, are you available?" That gig has been done. So I mean, basically, just doing that while able pay for my whole PBX visit, right? So that's it, just that one. I mean, I got a couple more from just going to PBX.
All right. All right. So, Billy, if anybody wants to reach out to you and have you do some white label events for them, how can they reach you?
They can email me or call me directly.
Oh, go ahead. You wanna give up your number like Mike Jones?
Yeah, always, man.
All
So
right,
give me a
drop it.
call. Yeah, 917-326-1816. And my email is billy@exquisitebooths.com. EXQUISITE booths.com.
All right, Billy, thank you very much for making yourself available for the Boothish podcast episode. It was a pleasure linking up with you, and we'll talk again soon, man.
All right. Thank you, man. See you soon, man.
All right, peace.